On this episode, we're going to test fit the custom air filter box on Project 64 Falcon. Welcome back to the vlog. I'm Matthew Salmi. This is Idea Ride Garage. And on this episode, I made something for the 64 Falcon. In a previous episode, I showed a design for an air filter box for the triple carb setup. I've 3D printed it. The K&N air filter fits perfect, so I'm going to get the hood off the car, make sure that this fits, and I didn't mess up any dimensions. So let's get the hood off and see how this looks.
The fucking disrespect of this guy.
So I 3D printed this using ASA. ASA is similar to ABS, and this will allow me to actually run this on the car, even though I will be ultimately machining this out of a solid piece of billet aluminum. This was 3D printed in 3 sections. I'll just pop one of these things off. 3 sections with some pinholes to align them when I put it together. But before I glue it together, I do want to make sure that it fits on the car, fits the carburetors right, because there's no point in gluing it together if it's wrong and I have to print another one. First thing I'm going to do is actually bolt the carburetors down because they're just sitting there, so this way they're not flopping around. So I did pick up some bolts at the local hardware store, so let me get that done. And then we can actually put this on the carburetors and see if it fits. So unfortunately, it's also like 30 degrees outside, so hopefully my fingers aren't too cold to put these nuts on. And I'm just going to go finger tight on these because, oh, that's a problem. And I bought the wrong fucking nut.
Many hours later.
If I don't drop them in the snow, I found some nuts that are the right size. I just can't have the carburetors flopping around like that. So I'm just going to put these finger tight. Will be fine for me to make sure that everything fits right. I'll still have to assemble the linkage on this and make sure that all of the linkage clears. And I already know that the factory export brace will not fit. If you haven't watched the previous episode, I'm running an Offenhauser intake manifold to put the 3 Autolite 1100s on it. I have carburetors at least finger tight down, so that I can put this on without the carburetors wobbling around. Put this back together. And these just sit on top of the carburetor just like a regular air cleaner would. And then I'll have this bar running across here, which will just bolt to the factory air cleaner mount on the carburetors, and it actually appears to fit, and that's a good thing. So I also did buy some screws for the hold this down, and K&N air filter, which is off of a Mercedes, I believe it was a 230 compressor. It's at that little hatchback, I think from the 90s, and it just drops right in here. Fits perfect. And as you can see, the factory export brace won't clear this. So with this lower section mounted, I can now finalize the design on the top. I designed this that the top would bolt down. You can kind of see where I have these circles here. That's just some support filament. So I will put some brass inserts in these. I may need to reconfigure the bolt pattern on this when I design the top, depending on how the velocity stacks come out. My original design had the velocity stacks in the center, but when I cut the hood, I don't want to lose the body line that runs down the center of the hood. So I think I'm going to offset them and angle them. I think it'll provide a really cool look. So the next step, I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to glue it together, put the threaded inserts in it, and put it back on, make some measurements, finalize the design for the top of it. So if you want to see how this crazy custom air filter box comes out with the velocity stacks and see me cut a hole in this beautiful painted hood, be sure to subscribe, and until next time.
You better subscribe. Don't make me come to your home, or else.